very good afternoon to you and welcome to today's edition of Joy Business Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and is brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, good energy, Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Masterclass comes your way every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. and runs all through to 2:15 p.m. here on your superstation Joy 99.7. My name, as always, is Yaw Anim Barnafo, and I'm glad to be your host for today's edition of Masterclass. Having completed our discussion on project management last week, we now started a new conversation, if you like, and we're looking at unlocking your wealth. That was indeed an exciting conversation, and if you missed it, I'm just going to recommend that please go to our Facebook page or go to our YouTube page or go to our X page and watch that edition for yourself. Some really nice thoughts there that will help your business and help you to unlock your wealth. I know that when we talk about wealth, it's one of those conversations that everybody is interested in, and you'll find out what wealth means to you, whether it means finances, whether it means peace of mind, whether it means good health, whether it means more money and enjoyments, whatever it means to you. The conversation continues today. By all means, our resource person is back here in the studio with us. But before I introduce my resource person, just a quick recap of the conversation that we had last week. My understanding, and I like to put these things down for those of us who missed it, who may not be able to go back and watch. My thoughts were just a few, about 4 thoughts here. That how do you unlock your wealth? And our resource person obliged us these thoughts that to be able to unlock your wealth, number one, you must understand human psychology. You must understand human psychology. How do people think? I watched a video this morning and we're talking about the fact that time ago, let's say some time back, we're talking about treat the customer the way you want to be treated. But now, she says that it's no longer treat the customer the way you want to be treated. Treat the customer the way they want to be treated. Yvonne Uhui McCarthy, good afternoon to you. Those thoughts were from you, from your videos. The second thing I learned was that you must learn people skills. Learn people skills. If you want to be able to unlock your wealth, number one, understand human psychology. Number two, learn people skills. Number three, you must know how to exchange value for money. You must know how to exchange value for money. When we talk about value for money, it means that there's an exchange that takes place. What are you exchanging? What you have for the money you are looking for or for the wealth you are looking for. So the question is, what do you have in your hand? Somebody says, I don't know anything, me, I can't do anything. It's a lie. There's something you can do better than nobody else. So the third thing here is know how to exchange value for money. And the fourth one was position yourself to build meaningful relationships consistently or constantly. Position yourself to build meaningful relationships constantly or consistently. Be in the right place at the right time. Today we continue that conversation, and we're moving on still under the umbrella topic of unlocking your wealth. We're going to be talking about monetizing your relationships. Monetizing your relationships, and we're looking at turning strategic connections into business growth. Before we go on, a quick shout out going out to Mrs. Eunice Opong of East Legon. You are one of our ardent listeners, Mrs. Eunice Opong. I'm told that once you lock your dial here on Joy FM and on Masterclass, if anybody touches the dial, they have a problem with you. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for listening to Joy FM. Thank you for supporting Masterclass. A very good afternoon to you, and thank you for doing the listening. Once again, to remind our listeners that we're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on X. And at some point, we will get interactive and you can be a part of the conversation. Going straight to introduce my resource person back here in the studio with us. I'm excited about that. Is our resource person who's a financial advisor, a sales strategist, and generally a very warm person who's going to share some thoughts with you and teach us to be able to unlock our wealth and monetize our relationships. Welcome to the show, Casandra.
Thank you so very much.
Today I did it right, Casandra.
Yes.
You're welcome. We're excited to have you back. Yeah. I had to learn to do it properly.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So going from what we did last week, with all the things I've shared regarding unlocking your wealth and things you shared with us, today we're talking about monetizing your relationships. By the way, before we go on, Casandra has obliged us a couple of slides as well. So we're also, for those who are watching us live, we'll be streaming those slides and you can make some notes as well for flow of thought and also for chronology. When we get interactive, you can be a part of the conversation. Casandra, talk to us. How do we monetize our relationships?
A very good afternoon to your listeners and those watching us on Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I believe that today is a special day, and we will most definitely not only pick up from where we left last week, but also go deeper. The monetizing part, the moment you mentioned that, it occurred to me that as human beings, if we do something and it doesn't benefit us, we will soon get tired and stop doing it. Trust me, even with humanitarian work and philanthropy, it is because we get some satisfaction from it. If we do not get that satisfaction, if it doesn't fill us up or fill our cup up or make us excited in a certain way, it's just a matter of time before we leave it. And so today we're going deeper to say, how do we turn those contacts that you have on your phone, or how do you turn every interaction that you have with people that you come into contact with into something that benefits you? And so it's not necessarily going around and getting money from everyone, but having that at the back of your mind that everybody has something that you need, and you did not just come into contact with people. Even those who give us bad, quoted unquote, bad experiences still teach us something. I'll give you an example. Sometime last 2 years, I met a friend and we became quite close. So by the end of last year, mid of last year, there were certain occurrences that happened. And first of all, it made me sad and bitter. Then after a while, after analyzing it very well, I realized that what he said was true, or how he treated me was exactly how I presented myself. And so how you present yourself is how people will accept you. That's basically it. And so don't be sad when people even quote unquote treat you badly. But if you still have the basics of what we are talking about in terms of human psychology, how we are wired, how we are created, how we are designed, and you still give the right amount of who you are as a person, you will end up analyzing even the things that, or the situations that we take as bad situations, and they end up turning out for your good. At the end of the day, I sat down and I realized that looks like all this while I lived my life without boundaries. And so today I've gone back to be friends with that person, because of course it is I who didn't know how to properly present myself to the person, or didn't have boundaries. And for human beings, if you don't tell me where it ends, I would cross and come into your space, because you didn't tell me where it ends. And so yes, if we are to go back and analyze a lot of our relationships, we will realize that some of those who we think have hurt us actually did us a lot of good, because we have grown through it, and through what they did, we've become different. Some of us have actually started businesses because someone told us point blank, you will not amount to anything. Like, because what we were doing at the time didn't look like we will amount to anything. And so the person was indirectly giving us a wake-up call. And so, I believe that there's a lot that we can learn that, will help us. Let's delve right in. If Yaw doesn't have any more questions. I love it when Yaw.
I'm trying not to say.
I love it when Yaw jumps into it. But anyway, let's move on. So just like Yaw said, today we're going more into monetizing, or basically how do we get those rewards, those sweet, juices out of the relationships that we are building. If we don't focus on how we can harness the daily relationships with people to benefit us, most definitely we will get tired. We would want to do it anymore. And sometimes we even begin to get hostile, because unexpected, when people have expectations that are not met, it ends up becoming bitterness, because you have an expectation, you've not been able to clearly articulate it, and you're not getting what you need from the people. After a while, you even begin to hate people. And so we need to be able to position ourselves well and know how we build those relationships. And note that I use the word build. You build, you develop it, and once you build that trust, and that trust is built, it begins to generate lots of returns for you. And so if you missed last week, we started by creating or laying the foundation for why it is important for you and I to take our connections with the next person very, very seriously, and why it should be of interest to us. That is because everything that God ever created, in human beings, He made it in such a way that some of it or most of it is with the next person. And the more you connect with them, the more you partner with them, like marriage, like family, like friendship, like the more you go, that is where all the blessings are going to be coming from. And so, moving into today's one, as to now that we understand why it's important for us to do that, now let's go into how we are going to, first of all, keep getting those relationships, keep building those relationships, and keep harnessing from them. Now, I wrote here in my notes that one can never run away from their design or purpose of its existence. I'll give you a clear example. Yesterday, I had a photo shoot with my team, and one of my guys was explaining to me, oh, this girlfriend of mine, she has a graduation and she wants me to buy this. But he was saying it out of frustration, but his body language was telling me that he was enjoying it. So at the end of the day, I was like, it looks like men enjoy when they take care of women, right? And he was happy, he had this smile on his face. And that took me to, that gave me that impression that we can never, ever run away from our design. When when you're designed to do something, it's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
That's human beings. We designed to connect. So stop running away from it. The more you run away from it, because someone hurt you in the past, the more you're losing, the more depressed you're becoming, the more sad you're becoming, and soon you will die. You will die because, there's no one around you. We're designed to connect. We're designed to smile. We're designed to meet people every day. And so let's take that very, very seriously. Objectives for today. So I want us to set a few objectives so that at the end we will see whether we were able to achieve them. I like to move us more into action today than just taking notes. So we're moving the information into a form of knowledge. And the only way we can do that is when we put in some action steps. So the first objective is to understand how to make each connection purposeful. And the second one is to learn to ignite, nurture more fruitful human connections. And the third objective for today is to identify how relationships can become reciprocal channels for opportunities. Now, just like I mentioned from the beginning, anything that doesn't have benefit to you, you will soon not do it again. It has to benefit you. So, for example, I've heard people say friends from old are better than the ones you meet when you grow up. I've heard that before, like childhood friends. And initially I was like, but why is that so? And I realized it's true. Like you really connect with your childhood friends more than those you meet when you grow up. And while I did more study and tried to think more about it, I realized that, childhood friends are those who, and people say that is because they love you for nothing. I said, no, there's nothing like that. People have it's because they know they need nothing from you. No.
There's always something
There's always
in the
something.
equation,
There's
even if you're
always
not aware of it.
Absolutely. Remember, we've already defined wealth in so many ways, abundance of certain resources. So you could have the cash, but then you have this friend, anytime he comes, by the time he's leaving, you're smiling, you laughing, he's either making you laugh, he takes you back to that time when you had nothing. And I have friends like that. I'm this Casandra that people think, I'm prim and proper. When I get there, it's like wig off. You can put your leg anywhere. You can be yourself. And so
There's always a space that you can be yourself.
You can be yourself.
And have no inhibitions.
Absolutely. And as we grow, now we have too much information. We withhold ourselves. We don't give too much of ourselves. And that's why some people value or love the childhood friendships more than the ones that we harness when we're growing up, because by that time you're like, that's just me, man, let's put our feet on the table and do what we get to do. But every interaction holds a seed of opportunity, and so when we look at it that way, it's easier for us to begin to harness it. Wealth is hidden in the conversations and collaborations and connections. Now, today, there are a few questions that I need us to answer before we proceed. I know some of you are driving or at work, but answer it in your mind or write it down and try to answer it later. These are like diagnostic questions. So, for example, when you go to the doctor, in order for the doctor to determine or make a diagnosis, they ask questions. And sometimes these are the questions that if we are able to ask and be truthful to ourselves in answering them, it helps in opening up a lot of beautiful doors for us. So the first question today that I want us all to try and answer or think about is, what do you want out of life? So me, Casandra, what do I want out of life? You, Ajwa, you, Kofi, listening to us. What do I really want out of life? And then you ask, what is standing in that way? What is standing in the way of what you actually want out of life? The second question is, where are you now? So in the, draw a line of life, where you started, where you want to go, and ask yourself, where am I now? Casandra, where am I in terms of my finances, in terms of wealth? I want to be able to leave a legacy. But where am I in that space, on that line from maybe 0 to 10? Where am I? You should be able to genuinely ask that question. Where do you believe you ought to be? Where do you believe, or where do I believe I ought to be? What will it cost you to remain where you are? So there's a reason why you want to go to the next step. And that's because you feel like, if I'm to remain in this position for the next 1 year or 2 years, my kids will not eat. Perhaps they will not be able to go to school. So when you're able to ask those genuine questions, then you know that then there is a real need for you to move on. I'm asking these questions because you will later, as we're building, you will know why these questions are very important for us to ask ourselves, to look in the mirror and to answer these questions. Or, when you just sit quietly with yourself, ask yourself, where am I now? If I were to remain in that position for the next 1 year, 2 years, what will be the cost? What is the resistance? What is keeping you from asking for help and reaching out? So, just like I said, anything without reward ends up becoming, nothing. It will fade if there is no reward. If I'm filling someone's cup and no one is filling my cup, soon I become empty. There's nothing for me to give.
There's nothing to pour out.
Nothing to pour out. That's basically how it is. And so even if you have relationships and you are only just giving and giving and giving, and there is nothing else, there is no other family member, there's no other auntie, there's no other work colleague, there's no other person in your life filling that cup, soon it will become empty and there will be nothing for you to give. In terms of these questions that we have just asked ourselves, the reason why I wanted us to ask ourselves is there something at stake? Is there a real reason for you to move from where you are? And do you know that the difference between where you are now and where you want to go is the next person? That key is in the hands of someone. It's in the hands of either a boss who will say, listen, I've watched you for a while. Would you like to occupy this position? It's in the hands of a colleague who say, I heard you say you're looking for a job the other day. I have this opportunity at my auntie's organization. Would you want to go and try it? So basically, if you determine where you are and where you want to go to, and you ask yourself genuinely, what is the cost if I were to remain here? If you can answer it and answer well, and you really do want to get to the next step, then you are the ones I have come for. So this afternoon, basically, the conversation is not for everyone. I say that with all honesty because there are those who are still, from last week until now, they've had the conversation, but there is something within them that is making them feel like, still a nipanye. No. Human beings are not good. Whatever Cassandra is saying, I don't know. She doesn't even know what she's talking about. If only she knows where I'm coming from. If only she knows where Kojo Mansa did to me. She wouldn't say what. So those you can't do anything about. So this afternoon masterclass is purposely, so up until this point, if you've answered the question and we hear, it means that you are part of those that we are going to catapult into the next stage. And that is the stage of action. Because if we don't take action, it's just about getting information and not moving with it. And
There's something
yes.
you said I just want to chip this in very briefly. It'll be brief, I
Yes.
promise. About the fact that we are designed to connect. And it reminds me of a famous South African word, Ubuntu.
Yes.
It says, I am because you are.
Because you are.
And I just wanted to say that we're designed that way. Ain't nothing you can do about it. It doesn't matter how pained you feel by whatever.
Yeah.
You are designed to connect.
Have you noticed, Yaw? Someone hurt you, but the person who's going to help you heal is another person.
And I was just going to add that we have a responsibility to become the best version of ourselves and to keep going because you exist to connect with the next person.
Voila.
So if you don't achieve the best you can become, you are letting your creator down.
Yes.
Because that person is going to meet you 2 years down the line because of what you did and where you've reached. Was supposed to meet you at that particular time.
Yes.
If you don't get there,
Yes.
you've let them down.
Yes.
The people that person was going to influence their lives, they will also miss out.
Absolutely.
It's such a complex dichotomy that we just have to keep going, keep asking God for strength, and keep being the best version of ourselves because we connect to everyone else and we are
I like
part
that.
of a pack of cards.
I like that.
If you lose your place, will the world stop? It won't, but you would have not
Yes.
been the best you could become.
Yes. I like what you said
Yeah.
about, we keep going.
Yeah.
Because just like I said right now, that one person hurts you, but it's the next person who is still going to help you heal. And so we're designed like that. Once that understanding is there, then now we're changing our minds. Now, depending on what's important to you, so just like I said, with the questioning that we're doing, we're now getting to diagnose, okay, fine, this is the problem, this is where I am. Listen, where I am right now, if I don't get the promotion I need in the next few months, I don't know what's going to happen to me. Once you are in that state, then we are going to ask, who is that person standing in the way? And it's always a who. There is a who in that place. There's a colleague who wants that job. There's another person brown nosing so much. There is, that boss that you're not clicking with.
Ghana will say chuking you. It's a brown nose is too polished.
There is that person that needs your position so much. So the question is, how badly do you need to get to the next step? And the way you're going to get it is by connecting to people. So how badly you need it will determine if you're going to take the steps that I'm going to talk about. Now, just like any sales person, we need to keep going through a few more people in order to start getting the rewards that we need. Let's put it in our mind. So first of all, we're moving now to action. You need to now start getting more people, more hellos. So ask yourself, how many people are on your phone? How many people are in your circle? How many people are your friends? Some people will say only one person is my friend. And you see, we are not saying that everybody should come into your inner circle. There is always, there's always different aspects of your life. There is your public, there is your private, and then there is your secret, that inner deep. Nobody's saying bring that person in there. You could at least move them into at least your public circle, and they're still your high friends, and you're nurturing, but just like I said, with building these relationships and beginning to your ability to harness more is the more people that you say hello to. So the more people that you get to know, the more people that you relate with, the more you can now sieve into those that can come into your private life, and the more you can have connections. So the more you want out of life, then the more people you need to go out there
You need to
and
engage.
intentionally engage.
It has to be intentional.
Intentional, just like we said. So there is something within us as human beings that whenever we meet a new person, we want to withdraw. There is, like, I just don't want to talk to this person. Let me just sit in this bus. And that's why when you leave human beings, we could do that, just by ourselves. But guess what? Like I said, the design is not like that.
Contact.
The design is contact. The new job that you want is someone else. It's in someone's hands. Have you ever gotten to, had this experience where you were just telling someone about something, says, oh no, my auntie was looking for. That's it. So if you have ever experienced something like that before, you know that the more you talk about it, the more you let people in, the more you're going to get out. Yes, of course, then there is the hurting part of it. But like I said, we need to also know how to nurture these relationships. It is easy for us to start moving people into our secret life when they ought to be in the public circle or they ought to be in the private circle.
Yeah.
But we're already telling them our secrets. You see, you need to get from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. So the stage 1 is get to know people, get to connect with more people. The more you connect with people, the more possible people you know. So now I know Yaw is at Joy. I know someone is at Goyle. I know someone is at here. I know someone is at, Hits. I know you just need to have more people so that when it's time for you to begin to harness, you're like, okay, who do I know here? Who do I know here? Okay, do you know someone in this ministry? Do you know? So the more people you need to know. So the thing is that you need to connect with more people. And the second part of it is you need to nurture those relationships. So I cannot have Yaw in my contact. I never say hello to Yaw. Yaw is constantly posting on TikTok. I never even go to say like. You never want to like anybody's anything. You're busy saying, Yaw is, Yaw Carol Church and saying TikTok, so I'm not yet, you need to nurture these relationships. And the way you nurture it is by servicing the relationship. So it's service. Hello, how are you, Yaw? These days, the internet has made it easier for those of us who want to hide under I'm an introvert.
Much simpler.
Just like his comment, say, Yaw, oh, I see you. Oh, it's been a while, but I see you.
I'm just reaching out to say hello.
That's
It doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything, Yaw, to do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the day you need Yaw and you pick up your phone, you're like, Yaw, I'm looking to come to Joy for, what do you think? Yes, because Yaw is constantly seeing you, feeling his cup in another way.
And somebody said that, you see, the things that you are looking for are also looking for you. But guess what? This realm was given to man. So even when Christ was coming, he came through a man, of course, man representing man and woman. Nothing happens on this earth without happening through a man. Contact, connect.
Yeah.
So the thing you are looking for is also looking for you, but connect so that we can say, oh, I know somebody who has this skill.
Yes.
I know somebody who has that skill. This person can do this one. A lot of times you get job vacancies and you don't need any of them, but you know somebody who does.
Yes.
And that's where the contact becomes important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we need to go through more people.
Yeah.
More people. Go on social media. Like I said, service those relationships. Go back onto your phone. There are people who did things for us and we have just, moved on from them. We have forgotten about them. Perhaps they're always thinking about you and thinking, Akosia Wahanka, she would be fit for this job. But because you haven't reached out to her yet.
Try it. See, after this show, tomorrow morning or this evening, just pick up your phone. Pick 5 people you haven't said hello to in a very long time. Send them a message and say, I just thought of you and I'm reaching out to say hello. That's all.
Thank you.
And wait to see the magic that will come out of it.
Yeah, you just nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it perfectly. So I love to put action to the conversations that we have, because without action, we will come here, talk, and nothing will happen.
Yeah.
I tell you what is going to move this into actually providing the magic, the miracles that we need. It is by you doing what Yaw just said. Pick up your phone, look for 5 people that you have stopped servicing for a while now, but they were resourceful people. You knew they had something about them that you can feel that there is something that you need that is with them. So why don't you just say, hello, Mr. So-and-so, hello, Yaw, hello, Kwame. I just thought of you, or you just came to mind. And I thought, let me send you a message. How is the family? How are you doing? Trust me, Yaw says 5. Oh dear, you're 10. Let me say it's 10 million. 10 million right there already for you. Just begin to service those relationships. Now, the other thing that I want us to start doing apart from us picking up the call and actually trying to connect with people, is to trying to connect with people is to also move into that area of filling people's cups. So try and get to ask people what you can also do for them, or how you can be of help to them. This simple question of how can I also help you? You know, sometimes we think that, or most times we think that if I'm to ask Yaw that, Yaw is going to come ask me for money.
And okay, but Casandra, hold that thought for me. People are not just contacts. People are conduits. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass, and we're here with Casandra having this wonderful conversation. We want to take a quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, we get interactive.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass. We're here on the show with Casandra, and we're talking about monetizing relationships, that is turning strategic connections into business growth. Just also remind you that today's edition of Masterclass is brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, good energy, Goyle. Yenara, Yedia. We're interactive right now. I want you to be a part of this conversation. Very interesting conversation. Let's share experiences. Life is too short for us all to make the same mistakes. So please share your experiences so that we can learn from it and be better. How have you monetized your relationships? How have you unlocked your wealth if you already have? Are you trying to monetize your relationships? Are you struggling with it? Do you need help? Pick up the phone. Give us a call on 0302 216 541. That's 0302216541, or send us your comments on WhatsApp on 055 1111997. That's 055 1111997. If you're driving, please do not text while you drive. We definitely want you to arrive alive. But otherwise, pick that phone, give us a call. 0302216541. Cassandra, while we're waiting for those phone lines to ring, I think you got a couple more slides.
Yes.
Yeah, let's finish those. And
all
then.
Right, so deciding to transform the contacts into catalyst. So that's what we just said, and that decision will come from what you need and what's at stake in your life. So if you are that person, like I said, it's just a section of people that we have come for today on the masterclass, and it's those who are saying, I need to get to the next stage. You know, I really do need to leave where I am. I really do need my cup to be filled. I really do need this thing. So you need to move on to the next level of your life, and you can only do that. You can only make the decision of turning those contacts into places where you can now draw from if you know what is at stake in your life. Now the next point is to listen with intentionality. Listen to people every time. So the thing about listening is that take a day, and when someone is talking, just tell yourself, today when Yaw talks, I'm going to
listen. Hold that thought for me. I've got a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, I'm Newman calling from my 7.
Good afternoon, Newman. How is Mile 7?
Oh, fine. My 7 is fine. Congrats. I'm very grateful with the program.
Right. Newman, please do this for me. Please position yourself well for me. We're struggling to hear you in the studio.
Okay.
And
okay.
If you can
Is
just
it
turn down
okay?
the volume a little on your radio set.
Is it okay?
It's better. It's better, Newman. Please
Yeah. What the resource woman is talking is very true. You see, I'm a fashion designer.
Right.
So sometimes I normally call my clients, those I haven't seen them for a while, just to check up on them. Before I realize, I have you in mind, I need something. Then they just give me a job a lot. So it's very necessary to normally check up on our friends, as you have been saying.
Right. Newman,
So
thank you so much
it's
for
very
calling.
good. So
Yes.
I learn a lot from what you have done this afternoon.
Thank you so much for calling, Newman. Please keep listening. Phone lines
All
are still
right.
open. Pick up that phone, give us a call, 03022165541. That was Newman there sharing his thoughts with us about how calling people he hasn't spoken to in a while is working magic for him. It's just simple. Just pick up that phone, try it today, and then share your testimony with us, either today or next week when we come live. But otherwise, pick up the phone, give us a call, 03022165541. That's 03022165541, or send us your comments on WhatsApp on 05511119997. I've got a message on social media. This one says, "Good afternoon. This is Ato Roxon, listening from Kolegono. Thank you for the educative program on customer service. Customer service in Ghana is nothing worth praising." That's an interesting comment. It says that 2 examples I'd like to give. Filling stations do not tell you the kilos nor receipts, but quote the price. 2, people who are responsible for educating women in the markets. Okay, I didn't get that clearly. But he's given 2 examples there of how our customer experience and engagement in Ghana is not the best. Ato, thank you so much for reaching out to us here on the show. You wanna comment on that quickly?
No,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, it's straight to the point then, isn't it?
Of course.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed. Please keep those comments coming. 05511119997 on social media. And you can also pick up the phone, give us a call on 03022165541. Okay, you were talking to us about listening.
Yes.
Yeah, if we could just finish that point.
With intention, listening to understand.
Right.
And you giving value first. I think last week we spoke about value, but just position yourself. Just tell yourself, this is how I look at it. The way God has created us, from our brain to our heart. Look at you as a human being. Look at the whole machine. Look at how powerful the machine of a human being, like the whole human being is.
It's intriguing.
It's intriguing. Your heart. So I was watching this medical and I was looking at the way the heart is pumping. I'm like, so this heart has been pumping like that. I mean, I'm getting to my 40s now, and this heart is pumping like that.
Yep.
And still, it is so intriguing. So look at yourself and understand that you are so valuable. There is something that you can give. That's all I'm coming to. There is always something that you can give.
Yeah.
And don't look at people. You see, don't look at people as people you're going to cash something from. First, decide, what can I do for Yaw? The simple question of, how can I be of help? Oh, you're starting a business. Oh, you're starting your project. How can I? You see, Yaw will never ever forget that statement that you made.
Exactly.
You may not be able to do anything for Yaw in the end. Perhaps even, Yaw flyer now, give it to me. Let me post it for you.
Yep.
That is you
Yep.
helping Yaw.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do
What you can.
for your country.
These are simple things.
Yes.
So the people that you're going to, auntie, I'm calling to, I just thought of you, but is there anything I can do? It's been a while. So is there anything I can help you with? Just so simple. It doesn't necessarily mean, sir, you have to go and take so much money for people. It is just the simple things that you do for people. They will always remember you.
I'll tell you something. There's a friend of mine who does this. He says that whenever somebody is bereaved, or a friend of his is bereaved, or a friend of his needs something, he says, Yaw, I deal with my me.
Okay.
I said, what is it that you do? He said, the first thing I do is I send them water. I said, but everybody's going to send them water. I said, yes, but people are not going to stop drinking water. Yaw, they're going to need water throughout the 1 week, throughout the funeral. And that's the first thing I do, and I'm the first person who always does it.
Wow. That is awesome.
But that's thoughtful.
That is thoughtful. Ensure you're saying, how much is water? But you see that water you're sending, he or she will never forget
Exactly.
that water that you sent. And so let's always position ourselves. I don't want to hear, like I said, we're already talking to a section of people. Those who are saying, okay, it's not for you. Sit where you are, because we don't want to come and be pulling you out of the gutter.
Exactly.
The next thing you push Yaw and I into the gutter. We don't want it. So stay in that gutter.
Yeah.
Keep saying, I don't have anything. I can't help anyone. Human beings are
You
evil.
always
I won't
have
talk to
something.
anyone.
Change your mindset.
Absolutely.
Change your mindset.
Move to action.
Exactly.
The thing is, you could also change the mindset by your sitting. But if you move to action and start right now
Indeed.
and start texting people and
Indeed.
say, listen, I heard that your mom was ill. How can I be of help?
Profound.
Profound. Your customers, organizations, you're sitting there saying, Ejumeni Ghana, there are no customers. There's no. How many of you have picked up your old database and start manning the data?
Yeah.
You're like, no, this person will buy it, not trying to. But the person brought you money. Money that ended up paying your fees. But what's your channel?
And sometimes our most difficult customers become our best customers in the end.
I have testimonies of that.
Yeah, because the best form of marketing is word of mouth.
Yes.
I don't care how. Do you see how the EPL? I always use the EPL. Is so strong. Let me use Ghana alone. People are getting stabbed in African countries over EPL that is being played where? In England. Why? Because they've done the marketing where now human beings are selling it by word of mouth. Would you mind say you bought Liverpool and Manchester? Now it's a way party
Obiama. That's the power of human connectivity. When you understand the basis of it, you move the customer. Now you earn the customer's trust. When you build that trust and that trust is there, now then they keep giving to you. They keep giving to you even before you say anything, and they become advocates. First of all, they bring profitability into your business, and they now begin to become the advocate, telling people, have you heard about this food? Have you heard about that wache here? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? I mean, a lot of us in Ghana grew up with businesses that were, I don't want to mention brands, they were strong. Like those days, if you say hotel, there was a particular hotel. Those, I mean, where are they all now?
You say bar soap. There's some name that's ringing in my head. Bar soap. You know back in the day?
Yes. Where are those brands now? They didn't take the people who were making them seriously.
Along with them.
When you take people for granted, you will keep losing in your life. When you keep making excuses not to connect with people, you will die, period. You're designed to connect with people. So no matter how tough it is, like I said, if the few people, this is the analogy that I give. In a world of 7 billion people, if one human being hurts me, or two human beings hurts me, 2 or 3 in 7 billion, no.
2 in 7 billion when you wake up in the morning and you go to work and you come back.
Yes.
Just try it this evening.
Yes.
Mental note. How many people did you meet?
That would
Mental
change
notes.
everything. How many people did I meet?
It's not that serious, though. And it's not that deep.
I think that those of us who know there's something at stake would take a step.
Yeah.
See, where I am now, I want to get to wealth. So I want to ask that man wearing that shoe. That shoe is nice. That's a nice shoe. Where did you buy it? Just because I want to get to converse with him. Because that watch shows that he is someone. Or that shoe shows that she's someone. Or that, you see. And also, don't go into it because you never know who is who. Don't always go into it looking at people's shoes before you talk to them.
Don't overdo it, is the advice. Be genuine about it and don't overdo it.
Be genuine and get to know everybody. That watchman that you do not respect, that security man that you thinking, he's the one who will show you, say, it's happened to me before. You know, the people you least expect are the people who say, my boss is the CEO, I work for him, maybe I'll talk to him. That's how
I'll share a quick story with you, 30 seconds, and I'll be very, very vague because this is a very specific example. A certain man in a certain place was good to a certain watchman somewhere.
Yes.
Continuously.
Yes.
What was he doing? Sometimes sometimes he do Ochianike. One time he was driving past and the watchman said, "Boss, Ochina Obebe Ejuma." He says, "Obebe Ejuma na obisa." I said, "Oh, hina obefa." I said, "Maybe I'm a fan now." I said, "Ebeya anka memba." Long story short, something happened. There was going to be a robbery, and he knew. However, he knew. I'm not going to talk to him.
But he wasn't. He couldn't.
Just because the guy was connecting. He says, "Ebeya memba."
Wow.
Let me end it. But it's just an example I'm giving that. That's what you're saying. Connect to people because you never know.
Connect with people.
You never
Connect
know.
with people. And the more people, like I said, the more people. But just like I said, you need to move to action today. Take that small action. Call people, text people, let them know. Ask them how you can be of help to them. First give before you get to when you build the trust, you see, there is that section where you begin to build the trust. First of all, there's the first part where it is difficult to say hello to someone. But once the mindset is, I don't know who Nana Yaw is, I don't know who Yaw is, I don't know who Sarah is, you know what, let me just give it a try. Once you put yourself in that in that space, you begin to think around that, and you break that barrier of human beings not wanting to first be the ones to say hello to people. Once you break that barrier, you enter into a different space where now at least they are your contact. Start servicing it. That's the next action. Service it from time to time. Don't go bugging people, but just, be polite and say, oh, hello, you just came to mind. I'm just thinking of you. Have a lovely day. Things like that. It's the way you service the relationship. And while you're servicing these ones, you add in more. Because the more you have, guess what?
Exponential growth.
The more you have.
Yeah.
It's it's like it's a probability. Yes, the more you have, the more people that you have, the more people you know, the more reward you can get. And mind you, there are also those who have all of these relationships, but they don't know how to service them. And they don't know how to give value to them.
Yeah.
So all the contacts that they have,
And the thing is that it's not just about you and the people you're connecting with. The reason we talk about exponential effect is because it's the people you connect with are also connecting with.
Absolutely.
So even if you met 10 people today and you connected with them,
Yeah.
those 10 people will also meet 10 people tomorrow. Let's do the math.
Yes.
Cassandra, we can go on and on, but next week, thankfully, we're back here.
Yes,
What's our
we
takeout
are.
from today's conversation? What should we look forward to next week?
So today we've moved into the action steps of what we are
Indeed.
supposed to do.
Indeed.
Next week we're going to move into the power of serving and the reward that we have, when we serve each other. But I believe that if all of us listening today, or who have listened and watching today, are able to move into the small steps that we have mentioned today, that is basically getting more contacts in there, or even the contacts that you have, service them and see the rewards. I'm sure by next week we should have testimonials that we can be working with.
Indeed.
Yeah.
One thing that stayed with me today in all that you said, people are not contacts, they are conduits. This has been Cassandra here with us in the studio talking about monetizing relationships on Masterclass. God willing, we'll come your way with yet another exciting edition next week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you same time next week.